Look guys, if you're a freelance videographer and you're tired of wondering and worrying about where your next client's coming from, this is probably going to be the most important video you can watch this year. Because let's be real, right? Like, what used to work? Email, organic content, networking, all of those things are breaking down. In my opinion, unless you pivot now, you're going to stay stuck at $250 jobs, £250 jobs for shitty clients you don't want to work for because they're cheap and don't respect your time. Like, you have to pivot now because the game has changed. Like, whether you want to admit it or not, it has. It's no longer just pay to win, it's pay to play. Like, if you want to be in the game, if you want to have a chance at playing, you have to pay. You have to run some sort of ad. Like, organic reach is down. The algorithms are, well, let's just say it, they're unpredictable, right? And AI content is flooding feeds 24/7. So attention is even harder to earn and even harder to convert into paid work. Like, getting the attention is one thing, but getting the right type of attention to then convert to buy from you, it's a whole new ballgame. Because if I'm being real, what used to get you your leads, your reels, your edits, even your behind the scenes stuff, now just get scrolled past, right? You're not the problem, your distribution model is. The way you're going about it is wrong. Now let me put you onto a little bit of a secret. Posting and praying is not a lead gen strategy. Relying on word of mouth is like playing business roulette, right? And cold DMs, we all know where that leads to. We all know where that goes. Look, I'll show you. Every 16 and 17 and 18-year-old out there has read this book, and all they are doing now, because they can't afford to run ads, is cold outreach. Cold outreach ain't gonna work anymore, guys. It's the old method of doing things. You need to have warm outreach. You need people coming to you that you can speak to. Now, here's some cold, hard British truth for you, okay? If you don't build lead flow by design, you're not running a business, you're just freelancing with a shit ton of anxiety, right? And I can tell you from experience, that's not the way you want to run a company. That's not a way you want to live. And I've seen it time and time again. Like, most videographers are 1 or 2 bad months away from quitting, or 1 or 2 bad months away from going under. And they don't even realize it yet. Like, that's how dangerous it is to keep posting and praying. Now, I can talk from experience here because I used to live on that roller coaster too. I used to get on that ride every single day. I'd post my best work and I would hope that I'd get a DM. I'd chase warm leads that had gone cold and hadn't spoke to me in months. And I was burnt out, I was undercharging, and 1 client cancellation away from, well, panic. Then I built what I call now the local lead engine, right? Because once it's on, it gets rid of that, where's my next client coming from, panic in your head. That whole switch just switches off. And within 3 weeks of turning it on, I had no leads, that client acquisition channel was completely on, and people were asking me about working together consistently. And the great thing was, I didn't have to spend a shit ton on ads. It was fairly cheap to get going because I could start off slow, and every client came in, I would just take 10 to 20% of the profit from that job and invest that into ads. So started off slow and just scaled it up naturally over time. Because the local lead engine is a super simple paid ad system that brings in high quality local leads daily. And when you set it up right, it runs in the background. So you could be on shoots, you could be at dinner with your mates, you could be in the gym. It's bringing leads in for you. And all these people you speak to, it's warm outreach, guys. None of this cold outreach malarkey anymore. You can differentiate yourselves from those people. Now, this engine is one of the many parts that I have inside my Creative Freedom Flywheel. And once you install it, it's like flipping on a local demand machine. Now, here's kind of what it looks like if I was to break it down to 3 segments. We've got targeting, the creative, and then local brand building. So with targeting, you don't need to reach the entire internet. Shit, you don't even need to reach your entire country. You can literally just run ads locally within like a 25-mile radius, people you can actually physically get to quite easily and service those clients. When I ran my agency, I was working with people in Scotland, Wales, Ireland, sometimes France and Spain. And as cool it was to travel, it gets boring and tiring fast. You only need to run ads to local service-based businesses in your area, right? Think restaurants, clinics, salons, contractors, even real estate agents, although they typically are a bit cheap. And number 2 in the creative, you just follow a very simple ad framework. Specific call out, who you want to work with, their pains, what they're suffering with, their desires, where they want to go. And D, call to action. What do you want them to do? In our case, we want them to follow us, because the whole system of direct response marketing has changed. Before, you could just run an ad, get someone to DM you and just sell them on the spot. That still happens, but it's a lot less now. You need to build trust. But Ben, how do we build trust? Well, number 3, brand building. Now, these ads don't just generate leads, they build recognition. So the longer you run this for, the easier the sales get. You're showing up daily in front of your ideal clients, ideal local clients, and that repetition positions you as the videographer in town, not just some other content guy with a camera. Okay, you want to be known to be number 1, because all the number 1 companies in your area, they want to work with the number 1 videographer. So instead of random referrals, you're going to start getting inbound DMs, inbound leads, like daily, because they've seen your ads, they've seen your content, they've seen your stories 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and it's going to be content that's evergreen. So it's always going to be working and doing the heavy lifting for you. This is how you create local demand on autopilot and dominate your niche over time. Okay, so simply here's how it works, right? It targets the right people, not random followers. It runs every day, whether you're editing, filming, sleeping, at the gym, at dinner, and it builds your authority because they see you showing up like a business, not a desperate freelancer who's just chasing the next cheap gig. Most videographers, they're invisible in their market because they don't know how to do paid ads. They don't know how to scale it up to the next thing, okay? They don't know how to get attention on what they already do, because just making organic content isn't enough. And look, I get it, right? You might be thinking, oh, I've never run an ad before, it's scary. It's scary the first time, but you kind of get used to it pretty quickly, once you see the results at least. And that's exactly why it works though, because you're not building a funnel. You're not tracking 14 metrics. You're running one simple ad to one small audience with one message on how you can help them. One platform, one audience, one offer to 100K a month. That's what all the people will tell you to do. And they're right. You don't need to be on 16 different platforms. You certainly don't need to be on fucking LinkedIn. Fuck LinkedIn. Now, one of my clients in Creative 20, Jake, he set this up and he did $30,000 within 10 weeks.
I know that like almost most of your sales have come in July. So like where are we at revenue wise for July?
In US dollars, because I know you've got a lot of American followers, but between 27,000 US dollars, which is most of it's been closed over that period of time.
And that's retainers, right?
Yeah, so $27,000 worth of work.
And what were you averaging, like, and just for ease in pounds, what were you averaging per month before you joined?
Probably about 3,000-4,000. I'd had periods before where I'd done like up towards 9,000, but it was never consistent. It was always like followed by a pretty terrible month.
Right.
So it's
Feast
nice
and famine.
Yeah, just knowing that is like, it just keeps coming in and it's all retainers.
So how does it feel now that you're actually at a point where, like, when you say that out loud that you've done $27,000 this month, like, what happens in your head when you hear that?
It's crazy, man. I was literally driving back from closing a client the other day and literally probably could have teared up a little bit, to be honest. It was very emotional.
You know, and the wild part is these guys don't have a website. They didn't send any cold DMs. And they didn't compete on price, because what they offer is something completely different to every other videographer out there, which I'll get into in the next video. And you're no longer just the video guy, right? You're the go-to creative partner in your area, booked out, respected, most importantly, in control of your own lead flow. So no more chasing, no more wondering where the next job's coming from. That's what happens when you stop relying on luck and start building leverage. Now, like I said before, the local lead engine is just one part of the Creative Freedom Flywheel, okay? And that's a system I've built to help creatives grow from 10 to 20K per month with retainer clients, consistent leads, and scalable delivery. No one-off jobs, no burnout, just a business that runs on systems, not guesswork. Now imagine this for a second. You've got local business owners reaching out every week because they keep seeing your work pop up in their feed because it's paid. You're not pitching, okay? You're not guessing. You're just showing up with the systems that do the heavy lifting for you. Now, this is episode 1 of a 6-part mini-series where I break down the exact systems I used to go from panic mode freelancer to booked out creative partner. And it's the same system I use now that teach my students how to do the same thing. In the next episode, I'm going to show you exactly how to take those leads and turn them into high-paying clients by teaching something most videographers never bother with. Sales. It's called the Creative Closer Framework, and it's what allowed me to sell retainers in the DMs with zero cringe. And I know that's important to a lot of you. Or if you're ready to install this now and you want to work with me, just DM me over on Instagram, 137, and I'll send you all the details. This is your moment, mate, okay? If you're serious about this game, start acting like a business, not a beggar. Build your engine, start stacking leads, and let the flywheel do the rest. See you in the next one.